How's it going, guys? It's your boy Saint here, and today we're going to be going over a gameplay that I played the other day. I believe it's 13 eliminations, so it's kind of a high kill gameplay. I'm going to be going over just kind of what made me do certain things or what my thought process is, and just kind of providing some very mediocre tips on just how to get through a game of Fortnite. So, without further ado, let's get into this video. Can we please get this video to 5 likes? I'm sorry, before we actually start, I would like to get this video to 5 likes. I don't think that's too much to ask because I've got 19 subscribers and most of you guys are fucking friends. So, I mean, help a brother out and get your boy to 5 likes at least. I watch all of your videos. Come on now. Alright, I'm getting sidetracked though. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is understanding the map layout, knowing exactly where you want to go and exactly where you want to land, what you want to kind of get out of the situation. So here I chose to the towers. I actually did not plan on winning this match. I just wanted to goof off, die, and then come back in. I was really trying to warm up because I actually hadn't played for a short while. I had actually spent a little bit of the day cleaning, so I hadn't actually done anything prior to this, so I was kind of just jumping in, kind of getting that crash course. But understanding your map, knowing what's around you, knowing where you are, will really help you as far as getting through the survivability factor of the game. Obviously, not pushing in on every engagement that you hear or see will also help you maintain that survivability as well. As you see, I see multiple people throughout the duration of this and I don't immediately engage on them. Usually I would, but I was trying to do something different this game because of the fact that I hadn't been on right away, or I hadn't been on for very long and I wasn't really warmed up, so I didn't want to jump in. And you'll see that I'm not warmed up. I'm messing up builds and things of that nature. Like just even trying to get across from this gap to across, I was messing up. I put a ceiling over my head. I built a floor above my head. I built another floor above my head. I couldn't edit. Like I was really not prepared to really jump into a gunfight. So understanding your layout, understanding where you are will definitely really help, especially if you're just warming up or not even that great of a player like I'm not. Then knowing the layout to where you can get in and get out of certain situations that you don't want to be in very quickly will help. Okay, so here, this engagement here, like, I was really rusty, as you can tell. I was not moving very swiftly, but maintaining height advantage on your opponent is obviously going to be one of the easiest ways to win an engagement. This gentleman sacrificed that height advantage, as you would have seen earlier. He did ramp up towards me, but he backtracked, and it's maybe because of the other individual that I'm about to engage, but I'm not completely sure. Maybe he thought I was going to out ramp him, so he backtracked. But maintaining height advantage is key in most gunfights, and you'll see a lot of people will push and try to maintain that height advantage because it makes it so easy. Second thing I want to go over is understanding where you are. Once again, I said that earlier in the video, but in this part here, when I entered that stairwell, I could have easily died by a trap. He could have baited me into a trap and I would have ran straight into it. Understanding your layout and knowing how people think will really help you. If I had thought about that, I wouldn't have pushed in as I did, because I literally stood right there by the door. That trap would have hit me and it would have been game over. So understanding that, but I also knew not to, at the very least, immediately push straight into the stairwell, up the stairs, trying to follow him. One reason you don't want to do that is because a lot of people will stand at the edge right there in front of the next staircase, and they'll just peek out and pump you. That is an easy 100+ damage right there once you're running through. One, because your character is completely vulnerable, and another bad thing about that is you will not be able to really do anything about it. I mean, you're just going to take that shotgun, and that's going to be it. So I'm not sure why he placed a trap there. That was a bad play on his part, but he did, and then he blocked it off, which, you know, kind of ruined his play there. I don't know if he thought that maybe I had been a lot closer and I had already pushed into it, but it's unfortunate for him that he blocked it off, because ultimately it didn't do anything for him. But as I was saying, when I pushed into the staircase or the stairwell, I stood behind the door and I boogie bombed the wall because I knew the gentleman or female was standing there, and that gave me advantage at that point, because once they're boogie bombed, they can't do anything. So now they're on the running end of that, and as you saw from the engagement, pretty much once again he did the same trick. He stood there around at the edge of the corner, and I ran out. Again, I would have been baited. If he was a better shot, I would have definitely died 2 times over there. But once again, he missed the shot. I boogie bombed the both of us, and then from there, I mean, it just became a cleanup process. I did not realize the individual was as weak as they were. I think it took like 1 headshot from the SMG and he died. So yeah, understanding, you know, just how players think will definitely help. Try to avoid being baited as much as possible. If you're chasing after someone that is weak, definitely keep an eye out for your surroundings, right? If it's a build fight, that's completely different, because you will hear the individual placing traps and things of that nature. But because that so much had happened in that one particular area, it was really risky for me to just rush in there and, you know, try and engage thinking that I had advantage. Another thing with this gunfight here, as you saw earlier, I was sniping from further back, but I didn't push straight across. I actually pushed around. The reason being is because I usually push in straight ahead, and I've always pretty much just been shot by both parties. So this time I pushed around to stay out of their line of sight, to try and give me an advantage at picking someone off, and I actually ended up getting that. So just keep in mind that when it comes to engaging, not everything has to be a straightforward, I'm guns blazing fucking Rambo type of gameplay. Actually try and think about how you can approach the situation. So in this case here, he didn't think about the distance between him and I, so when he used his pump, it had very little effect. I mean, he did less than 50 damage with 2 shots, I believe. So things like that, I mean, you have to really think about. If he had approached with an AR, he would have destroyed my builds a lot faster and still been able to hit some shots beforehand. But he pushed with a shotgun instead, and it became a completely wasted effort because he got hit with my AR instead, and he ended up dying. So keep in mind how you approach the situation. Not everything has to be, oh, I'm just going to go in guns blazing, because a lot of the time, if you're playing a remotely capable player, they will make you regret said decision. So this gunfight here, wow, yeah, this gunfight, I thought I was gonna lose right here. I should not have engaged in this gunfight at all. I really had a big ass head at this point in time. You know, I dropped 10 elims. This man Santa Claus here knew I was a naughty kid this year. He was making me repent. But at the same time, so like I said earlier, understanding how you engage in a gunfight, understanding what you're really, you know, doing. So I pushed a individual that I assumed was not a decent player because they were sitting out in the open. I immediately began to regret that decision when he started chunking my health 50 at a time. But what I did after realizing that I made a huge mistake, I basically used our builds as a means to defend myself. I maneuvered in and out of the builds to maintain distance so I could properly heal. And then when I got comfortable with my health, I decided to go back in and engage. So still rusty at my building here. This is probably one of my worst displays of building in so far this season. Actually, I've had a lot better build fights where my edits are a lot cleaner and things of that nature, and my shots actually fucking hit. But I started once again retreating into the builds, making it to where it was hard to get a hold of me, knowing that he knows that I'm weak. He's going to push aggressively. So I used that as an opportunity to get in and out. And so what I do is I constantly keep retreating in and out of builds, taking time to heal. Now, mind you, I knew he had a hand cannon. I don't know what took me so long to actually, you know, think about that, because I placed a simple wall. I should have placed a triangle, but I didn't. But here, another good play on my part, which actually just became a stroke of luck because I didn't actually think it would work. But when I took my launch pad and I swung back around, I saw that zip line, and I thought about taking that zip line, but at the same time I knew that if I took it I would leave myself vulnerable. But because I needed to heal, if I could make my aggressor take the zip line, then all else goes well. So what I did was, when I landed, I actually placed a double wall, and knowing that he would just simply ramp over it, I then continued to push into the builds and go back to healing. So what happened was he ramped over it as I thought he would, but the zip line, which is kind of an automatic thing, took him away as soon as he touched it. Boom. Now, he could have very well just easily jumped and turned back around, but because the zip lines are so very glitchy, I think he just took the safe route of riding it through, just because it was a lot easier on him. But thank goodness for that, because it actually gave me an opportunity to continue to survive. He does his own thing and he comes back eventually, but like I said, the zip lines are very finicky, and he actually comes back on the zip line, and you'll see that later on. But like I said, using the building and using the entire situation to your advantage will definitely be key. As that second guy, the gentleman or female that I just killed here, you'll see they pushed so aggressively, but they didn't understand the layout of the build fight, so they couldn't maneuver. They lost track of me, and then that allowed me to gain advantage over them. I found some random grenades, picked them up, chucked them. Actually, I got a lucky hit, and it gave me advantage at that point, because once again, they had no idea where I was at. So because of that, they accidentally pushed towards me. I got some AR shots in, and then I was able to clean up with a shotgun. So using all of this layout to your advantage, this is your build fight. You have to remember what's what, what's where, and things of that nature. And in the moment, it's going to be very difficult. So, you know, sometimes you're going to pickaxe through something or just sit down at the bottom. But as you see, for me, it actually helps out. You know, I got away from my opponent on multiple occasions. I got to the safe situation, and it helped me survive. So, yeah, please pay respects to Santa Claus there. Like I said earlier, the zip lines are very glitchy, and like I said, the reason he didn't jump off the first time was because he could have very well been propelled and forced to take damage, which second time around that exactly ended up happening. He jumped on the zip line, and it immediately flung him off, and he fell to his death. He was hands down the hardest opponent that I had faced this particular match, and I was kind of torn when this happened because I really wanted to kind of prove my worth because I had faced him so poorly the first time. I wanted to get that second chance, but I was also relieved because, I mean, hey, that was a tough opponent that just kind of easily got taken out of the picture. So I was mixed, but I was relieved because at this point I really did feel confident that I would actually win this match. And I'll be honest with you, I think I've played over 1,000 matches this season already, and this came out to be, I believe, somewhere around my fourth solo win. I have a lot more. I'm not gonna say a lot more. I have more wins in duos and squads, but this became my fourth solo win. So hey, don't make fun of me, okay? Like I said, I'm not good, okay? So, you know, I accept that. I'm trying to get better, but that's what this video is for as well. Just a recollection of what kind of helped me win this match, right? Because I plan on continuing to play, of course, and things of that nature. So I gotta keep in mind, you know, that not everything is about Fortnite is just a run and gun. So even this situation here, I immediately pushed towards safe zone because I was a good distance away, and obviously if you have the safe zone, you pretty much have, it's a form of having an advantage, right? If you know your opponent's not there. I actually didn't know where my opponent was, so I pushed safe zone in hopes of basically being able to find that out, maybe seeing him run towards the safe zone like he's doing now. So it helps, definitely. If you can maintain a safe zone, maintain the safe zone. Especially in these last moments. I've seen a lot of players do it in previous games that I've played, and I've always been like, oh, these guys are camping, this, that, and the other. But then you got to think about it. This is a survival game. Your goal is to survive. I mean, I can't be mad that you chose to take the safe route, and I'm over here trying to be Rambo. I'm gonna just run it and gun it. So I decided to take that same approach here. I held my opponent back as much as I could, just to maintain having, you know, the dominant side here. So they made a few bad plays here. One pushing across kind of that huge of a gap without supporting his floors made it easy for him to get shot down. He took fall damage. Now here, he's probably healing up, because I could not destroy that for the life of me. I pushed across, but I knew that that structure was there to catch my fall, so I wouldn't take fall damage. And here I just maintain high ground, and I'm pretty confident. You see, I allowed myself to take a ton of damage there unnecessarily, but I'm pretty confident that I can hold him back and, you know, still maintain the victory. So here is what I'm talking about with the floors and triangles. You see he's shooting my builds. It's not really doing anything because it's two structures simultaneously. He's got to do double the work. So I maintain the high ground. I keep my opponent back, and as you'll see, eventually he's going to die out by the storm. I would have preferred to get the elimination so I could have a solid even 14, but he got stuck in the water. You can hear him hopping around. He's not going anywhere, and when I drop down here, you'll see he gets eliminated. I celebrate. He could have avoided that if he had built up out of the water and just ramped across that way, even if he built floors and walls, but he didn't think that through. So there you have it, guys. 13 eliminations. I hope you guys enjoyed.